Yep, as a puppy, I knew her parents, mum and dad. So Semi and Daddy were Monster's parents, and Semi was full term, and they knew that she was having two because she'd had the ultrasound, and so I had dibs on one. When they came out, one was male and one was female. I'd had two males in the past, and they were mummy's boys. So I was a bit reluctant on which one I was going to choose. I was going to choose the male, but I liked, Monster had the colours that I liked. She was fawn, and the other one was a dark brown brindle white. But I was still a bit uncertain, and then we went over about 4 weeks later, and here was tiny Monster. And the first thing she did was walk up to my 6'5", 150 kilo partner at the time and bit him on the toe. So I said, oh yeah, I'll have her. She had attitude, and the other little boy one was just kind of sitting in the garden. And I just, from that moment I was like, personality, cheeky girl. Yep. So we got Monts. Monster turns 8 in January, on January 16. So nearly 8. This hip thing has probably been going on for the last 4 or 5 years. I believe that, I don't think it's a hereditary thing. I think it was an injury that went kind of unnoticed, to be honest, for a while. And then the way it healed, the vet said it was not affecting her muscle. There was no muscle degeneration but I could see it was noticeably, something had happened. She's obviously playing with I had a Roman nose piggy, and something had happened while they were playing. So from about 3 years onwards, she's had this kind of unbalanced walk. Not so much a limp, but a bit of a waddling gait, I think the vet called it. Yeah. Definitely the speed. She's slowed down a lot. A more noticeable limp. Her right leg toning out that bit more, and her last toe splaying to kind of, I think, make up and hold her balance a bit more. And also her front leg, which I've only just noticed in the last, say, year and a half, a drag, not lifting her feet up so much. And on her left front foot, her toenails completely worn down. Yeah, so there's been a lot of research that I've done online with things that are offered by the vet, but I'm reluctant to give her anything as such. There's like fish oil. She has sensitivities to seafood. She has a lot of food sensitivities, which I've had to do like a food diary and trial and error with certain things over the years. And so I was reluctant to start on anything that was any medication or any kind of natural fish oil. I've been looking into all that, but I was just reluctant to give her anything extra on top of what was working with her food. So she, whether it was environment or just her getting old, her immune shutting down a little bit more, and also the way that her parts are made. She has like a hood where it's passing, and so it was trapping in some bacteria. So she was getting recurrent UTIs, and in turn it produced struvite crystals, which then turn into the bladder stones. Fortunately, we got it early enough that she didn't have to get any operation done. We were put on a prescription diet, and it leveled out her pH and got rid of the crystals. So that's working for us, and we're sticking to it. I was a bit reluctant with just the kibble food because she's had a raw diet most of her life, and been a bit spoiled. But you know what? She got the kibble and she smashed it. So yeah, I'm happy with that
Awesome.
because it's not cheap. So weight has been an issue, and also just how far she can go and how fast she can go. So it is a little bit harder, I think, with her age too, to get that weight off. So we swapped her diet, and we also went from 1 walk a day to 2, sometimes 3 short bursts. And in the cooler months, I believe it was a bit cooler when we were taking her around, we could go out that little bit later. In summertime, it's before the sun comes up and after the sun goes down. So when we were going out that little bit later, it seemed like the whole community was out because it was COVID and everyone was at home. And we made a lot of friends. But yeah, we were walking along and it was your son, wasn't it? And we just got chatting but yeah, slowly but surely she kind of makes her way around the block or to the park back, not very much further. But I've noticed in those first 3 weeks she was getting that little bit farther, that little bit faster. Yeah, I think did you notice my eyes kind of welled up a little bit when you offered that to me? Because it meant a lot. I was very grateful, and I was a bit blown away actually, because I know it was very generous, and I think by then you had seen me heaps of times, and you knew how much Monster means to me. Like, she's my everything. She's my baby. And when you offered that to me that day, I did get a little bit teary. I had to hold it back a bit, and I was a bit blown away by the generosity, and I could see that where your mindset was you wanted to help, and I just had this glimmer of hope that maybe it was just going to make her that bit more comfortable. I think I even said to you, thank you, because I've just kind of got to a point where I can see her just degenerating and getting old, and I just want to make her comfortable, and do whatever I can. So it meant a lot. Well, just to give her some comfort, we talked about circulation, and I was, really just hoping, for a miracle, really, for rejuvenation, but just to make her just that bit more content, because it is getting to, and I hate to say it, towards the end of her existence. And if anything that I was hoping out of it, that it was just going to make her comfy. And then the rest, I was, like you pray for a miracle, and yeah. Okay, well, like as you said, I work in a medical laboratory, so it just kind of made sense to me when you're explaining how the components and how everything was working, that our body, like, heals from the inside out. And the circulation, with her skin and her joints and everything kind of comes from the inside out. So it just made sense to me when you're explaining it, that this was the way to go, without trying the medications, and like, this is the go. Her allergies, toxicity, long-term use, and like the side effects. What do the benefits outweigh the side effects? Sometimes they do target what is wrong, but sometimes those other things that follow, are kind of, I suppose, put into a lesser priority. They want to fix what's wrong, so I get why they target that, but then all these underlying kind of issues. Yeah, so... Well, as you were plopping it down, I think she had already sniffed it, and as soon as you plopped it down, she hopped straight on it, didn't she? And we had another little terrorist, little dog, kind of sniffing and wondering what was going on too, but Monster just took to it straight away, didn't she? And look, I was actually I'm not sure what I was expecting. I just thought it was very generous, and look, I was willing to give it a go. When you brought in this luxe, beautiful looking bed, I was like, wow, well, this is actually a really nice addition. to the place. Like, you know, some dog, but you know, it's kind of like you stick him in the corner and they're a bit sightly, and you like. But this, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is Lux. You know, this is nice. And Monster took to it straight away. I believe we hadn't turned it on yet, and she was already sitting on it. And then we were wondering how she was going to go when it actually started. And I think it didn't faze her, did it, when it started up? And I could almost see it in her eyes, like looking like, what's going on here? And she loved it.
Tell us about the day or so.
Yeah, well, I noticed that she loved it. I noticed that even when it wasn't on, it was something that she was drawn to. It was comfy. And then I was worried that she was going to kind of not stay on it, but she sat the full, like the first night she sat the full 10 minutes, and then another 10 minutes later on. And it's been like that most of the time. If she does get up, it's to go and have a drink, and then she'll come back on, because I'm worried while it's on, and if she gets off, she's not going to come back on it while it's on, because at the start, how it eases in and starts off slightly and then builds up. So I thought if she gets off, but she hops straight back on it, even when it's in mid kind of cycle. But there's only very, very rare occasions that she'll get off when it's mid-cycle.
Yeah.
So she snores due to her folds and her breed, but she also was doing this peculiar kind of breathing, and it was more so, I don't know how to describe it, I'm just going to have to try and do the sound. It was like a... She does do a similar sound when she wants food, but that's more of a... But it was this grunting, and I wasn't sure if she was trying to tell me she was in pain. She was uncomfortable. Was her belly hurting? Like I was, you know, are you okay? Are you okay? 'Cause it's this particular noise that she was doing, and it was constant. And I noticed in the first week that noise had stopped. And I did say that to your wife. I remember the first week, and she kind of wants to run up and be like, who's new dog? Who's this? You know? But the breathing and the sound was noticeably, that was probably one of the first things that I picked up, that she wasn't making the sounds, and I wasn't saying to her when we were going to bed at night, are you okay? Like, because it was concerning. My heart was hurting that something was wrong with her, and she was in pain. And yeah, so that was great. That first week I knew, for me also, that it made a big difference, without having to think, what's this sound for? You know, she didn't make it. So I was stoked that first week. Yeah. So as we progressed into probably the second week, you probably see I was filming her, her speed, actually her energy levels was the first thing, and her stance, her posture. This right back leg was the main concern, and almost a more straight posture, still a little bit turned, of course, and this last toe, I believe she's just used to having it out with how she was balancing, but the splayed toe in somewhat, by the second, like the end of the second week, I could notice that, and the energy levels. She's always loved food, but I could see even getting up and getting more excited for her food, which she's always like, oh yeah, no, dinner time. But she was like rearing out, running, sitting down, like actually running. So that was good when I saw her get excited, and she doesn't run. She'll have a little short burst every now and then, but to see her get excited and run, that was good. Look, she has short bursts, and it depends on circumstances. She loves dogs, but she's not really a dog. She loves people. So if she sees, for instance, like my family members, she'll get a little bit excited and have a trot. Usually both back legs, I don't know, she's got a weird running style. Two back legs go together at the back. It's more like a bunny hop. But yeah, let's just say it's not a full canter. It's just a gallop. Yeah. Well, content, peace of mind, knowing that I'm doing something about it. I think that was the big thing for me when I could hear her breathing like this. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, and it was getting to the point where I was going to put her on pain meds, but when I take her to the vet's given her a full bill of health. Besides the fact that she said she's just getting old, so they were reluctant to really do anything further than that. Wow. Well, it's number one, really, isn't it? Their brain, their skin, their joints, everything depends on their blood flow, and with humans. I think it's very critical. Definitely. I've noticed myself, I've actually turned off the side of my bed and put my feet on the bed for the 10-minute cycle and lifted them up, and wow, like after work when your feet are hurting, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, and I lifted my feet back up on the bed and they were tingling. They felt great, and I was like, wow, if this is what your whole body feels like, no wonder you like it. I was actually pretty not shocked the first time, but just the sensation that when I lift my feet back up on the bed, I was like, wow, that is really good. Could feel it myself, and I was like, this is how you feel, Monster, all over. Oh, look, I don't think I ever was doubtful. I think I was more hopeful. I don't think I ever kind of had that mindset of doubt. I think with the way that you had explained things, and I suppose my medical knowledge, that it just made sense to me that this was going to help. No, I didn't doubt. And just in the first week, it really kind of set what our goal was and in line. And I thought, if this is the first week, I'm looking forward to the first month, the first year. So no, I really didn't doubt. No, not a doubter. Okay, so I think at the beginning we discussed AM and PM, but we kind of added a couple more in over the time. But she gets up, does her business, she has her breakfast, and then she'll come down and have her morning session, and then for a walk. So, and having a new job and everything like that kind of upheavaled us. So we missed out on that second one in the night, but I was giving her a second one before I went to work. And this is for a good probably 2 weeks while we moved place and I settled into my new position. And I could notice it wasn't a decline, but it was a almost halt in the progress, because we weren't doing it consistently. For those couple of weeks, it was kind of a sporadic, and it was just a living situation that I was in. But we worked it out. So she's back on. She has one before a morning walk. She has one before I go to work, and then I try and sneak even one more in before midday, just before I leave, like put it on. And then when I get home from work in the evening, which is she'll go and do her business, and which she was getting that second walk for those first 3 weeks, but for the last 6 weeks we haven't had the afternoon walks, which we're a bit bummed about. Yeah, definitely that sound that she was making, the speed that she's walking, and noticeably that front, I thought it was always her back leg, her back hind right leg. But obviously the way that she was holding herself and walking, because we did a lot of walking on the road, her whole left front foot was getting dragged and wearing her nails down to almost the point, like to the quicks, and they were sore. So initially it wasn't something I noticed in that first week, because obviously, like, the nails hadn't had. I noticed probably about the third week, her nails started to go on that side, and I thought, you know, you're not dragging your foot. So then, it was probably about the second week. I could see they weren't getting worse, because every night I'd think, you know, are they sore? Because they were going quite far down. So probably about the second week did I notice that she had not worn them down any further, and now her front toenails are the same length as the other ones. Yeah. So it was obviously the way that she was kind of compensating that back leg. And firstly, the idea of what it does is really, you know, that's unimaginable, that you can just, you know, it's a component there that can help make your dog more comfortable. Like, you know, a bed's comfy, but this bed she loves. And I know, I suppose it's a great addition to, you know, if people are looking for a luxe bed that looks nice also, I love the look of it. It's luxe. Also, the material that it's used from. Like, I know Monster doesn't stink. She's clean, but she gets this certain smell about her if she has... so I can't use polar fleece blankets. Certain beds that I would get, I would chuck them out after 2 weeks, because they just made her sweat, or had some kind of... they would irritate her, or they'd just get this particular smell. And it was... this bed, it doesn't take in that smell, or it doesn't make her sweat and smell. She does drool. She's a bulldog. So easy as to wipe clean. I've just had to wipe it clean, and, you know, very low maintenance. That's another thing, because I was taking insides out of beds and washing the outside and spraying the inside bits and putting him in the sun, and like doing all this bed maintenance. So that's a great point, because I've just really just had to wipe it down. It hasn't got a stink to it. I know that there was, you mentioned like the copper infused in the sides, like whether or not like that, the bacterial growth, I don't know, but it just doesn't take on this smell. It doesn't smell. It looks great. And the main thing is, you know, it can look however it wants. If it makes my dog feel good, that's the main thing, and it has. Yeah. Yep. Wow, because when you were explaining all that, it was quite mind-blowing. And, you know, technology these days, I was a bit blown away by all the components that you had explained. I think the benefit, I know we haven't got those in the one that she's trialling, but I think peace of mind while I was at work was the main thing that come to mind when I was speaking to you about it, and just knowing kind of the stats, or what's kind of going on while you're not there. That was the main thing. And knowing that you could just really come back and have like an idea, or it was a graph, I think, that you explained, and percentage and times, and like I was actually a bit blown away by how much involved it was. And I like things like that. I like stats. I like, you know, proof and graphs, and yeah. So I think the app that goes along with it, I was you know, pretty impressed, to say the least. Yeah. Yep. Sure, I know money is obviously, you know, a big thing for a lot of people. But look, Monster's my baby, and I would fork out whatever I could to make her comfortable. In the long run, I think something like this, or some kind of preventative, is better than a cure. In the long run, I think vet bills and all that add up. So if you can kind of have a maintenance, you know, pre-existing conditions, or use it all the time. I know money is obviously a concern for a lot of people, as it is with me. But look, I don't know. I think Monster's my child, and I would definitely fork out or do whatever I could to make her comfy. And I think it will work out. I haven't had to get, the medications and the pain relief and that. I can see a noticeable difference. And, I haven't had to go through the worry of putting all those meds in her body and toxic kind of, start her on anything that might flare her skin up. And that all adds up, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I suppose because I'm the dog mum down the park, kind of telling everyone what I think kind of works now, because I've had a lot of ladies come to me and say about, the antidote, all these things for allergies and all these things for pain relief, and but now I'm the dog mum that's saying, wow, you should try the dog cloud that's coming out. I've been trying it, and it's this great system. They were making people beds, but they've, can see the benefit in it for pets, and explained the whole massage and the vibration component and the circulation and the immune system from the inside out, and I'm one of those dog mums kind of explaining, I know a lot of people are like, wow, that's a bit, and I said, I've got proof in the pudding. I've showed them videos of the before and after, the proofs in the pudding. But yeah, I think the whole medical kind of science about it is what really I try and to go into and explain. I think that's the way that you kind of introduced it to me, the whole vibration and the massage component, and the way that it's the lymphatic drainage and the lymphatic system, how it controls your whole body, controls your whole immune from the inside out. Which sounds funny because you think if it's a skin thing, it's not always something that she's rubbed up on or come across with it in her environment. It's her immune down. So over the years, that's what I've noticed. She hasn't been in contact or had anything that's set her off. It's just when it's obviously her whole insides, that's when it starts playing out. No, and I can get those. If I've tried it, I've tried different beds and blankies, and I can tell within the first week or two if her skin's going to play up, and then it just goes in the bin, because I know there's no amount of washing, or it's not the actual it's not how it's being washed or how it is, it's the fabric itself, and it sets her off. We've had no trouble, definitely no trouble. So not only doesn't smell, it doesn't make her skin flare up. Yeah. Okay, well, I'd still be contemplating what I could help to do to relieve that pain for her. I'd still be wondering what that sound was that she was making, and that's heartbreaking. It is. I don't have children. She's my baby, and when they can't tell you what's wrong with them, that was paining me. So a lot of inner turmoil, it saved a lot of inner turmoil. I'm just very grateful to have ever been offered the opportunity for her to try it, and it kind of makes me a bit emotional about how much it has worked, and I'm very, very grateful, because people these days, they're just kind of not there. There's a lot of people in it for themselves, and I could see that this product is something that's working for Monster, and it's just such relief. Okay, well, I'm on Instagram. My scroll is, and my feed is dogs, bulldogs, lost dogs, found dogs, special or differentially abled dogs, special needs dogs, yeah, I feel like there is more people out there actually not choosing euthanasia. Unfortunately, I hate to even think about that. Um, and providing a comfortable life for dogs that are, potentially that would just get tossed aside, let's just say, and not taken care of. So there's a lot of people that are concerned and taking on the welfare of these dogs that aren't doing so great, but they're happy, and they're alive. So I know I feel like people like that. Well, you know what? It's made a difference in my life, and I can see Monster's more comfortable. And if that's the case with pet owners, if if you've got a dog, get the bed. It makes them comfortable. I don't know. I just feel like dogs are everything. I've chosen to have my fur kids instead of children. I know that sounds weird, but I'm just very grateful to see the progress that she's made, and I'm looking forward to just seeing how much more progress. And look, even if there isn't progression, much more than what she's done, I can see that it's made her comfy, and I can see that it stopped her decline. So that's the main thing. If she's at a point to now where she doesn't get much better, or things don't improve that more, that's fine. I can see that it's made her more comfy, and it's like I can see it stopped that. She was degenerating fast. Yeah, I totally recommend Dog Cloud, not only for the medical benefits, for your own peace of mind to know that you're doing something, and you can see the results. Like, it's proofs in the pudding. I recommend, if you want a luxe bed, it looks great. Also the materials. I really can't recommend it. It's highly recommended. Easy maintenance, that's a bonus. But look, the main thing is, big girl, like I said before, it could look however it, but what the main component is that it's making her feel better. How you've designed it, yep, it's making her feel better, and that's the main thing. Just gonna knock the cameras over. I thoroughly recommend this. Not only peace of mind, knowing that that I'm doing something about it. I can see the response that she's had has been great. She's definitely progressed. I've been making my little video journal entries, and I go back over them and I'm study them and like, see, that's the way her leg was, and I can compare like the proofs in the pudding. So peace of mind, highly recommend. And like I said about the maintenance, it's so easy to clean. It doesn't get that smell. It looks great. It's a great addition to my room. It's kind of like people walk in and say, if that's a cool kind of like one-seater couch for your dog. I said, yeah, she loves it. So no, I highly recommend it. I can see the progress that she's made, and I'm very, very grateful. From the day that you offered it to me, I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't doubtful, because the way that you explained it, I was very hopeful, and I got a bit emotional. I got a bit teary. I think I had to hold back a couple of tears because she means everything to me, and if I could help her in these last few years here on earth, without having to go into all the medication side of things, I was like, yeah, you beauty, I'll give it a try. And now that I'm so very, very grateful that you offered it to me that day and that we got speaking. It was like our paths crossed for a reason, and I'm very, very grateful. So grateful. And I know Monster is, even though she's going to do a number 2. Water tank. Okay, you reckon? Leave that. Yeah, don't think out of that. Yep. Finding the shade. Okay. That's a good girl.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go. Go. Per property, aren't you?
Yeah, depending on the size. I think you can get away with 3 if it's
Are
big
they
enough.
working
If
dogs
it's-
or?
Maybe, yeah.
Anyway, we'll have to see how she gets along with them. Wants to just like her own space. I'm not going to rush into anything, but I have to be out. I understand, and I'm very considerate.
Yeah.
I'm having no.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's not what?
that's not the problem. You know, like, okay, sorry, I'm just trying to make it easier.
Yeah.
But mental health, it's a terrible thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's hard for people. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
We just
thank
massage and relax, and that's how it's
Chill.
supposed to be our whole life, isn't it?
Yep. And I've been telling a couple of people about the podcast, and thank you, because she isn't getting any younger, and I just
No.
feel like this is just
Quality of life to the end.
yeah, peace of mind. Like I know, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
in saying that, come on, we've got to get you because it's
Yeah.
getting too hot that time of
Yeah.
the day, and my bloody aircon's broke down.
Oh no.
Anyway, if that's my biggest problem, I'm doing all right, aren't
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. First world, isn't it?
I? Yep.